Good morning and welcome to our group 4. Today, I'm here to talk about aspect of perception. First presentation will be presented by Vera Andina Yuna Ramadhanti with the topic cell assembly and phase sequence.
Okay, thank you, Aya. Next, cell assembly and phase sequence in psychology represent fundamental framework for understanding how group of neurons and their temporal organization underpin cognitive and behavioral process. Cell assembly refers to a group of neurons that become functionally cognitive through synchronous activity. This network represent the fundamental unit for psychological process like perception, memory, and learning. Next, Hebbian cell assemblies. Hebb theory posits that neurons firing together strengthen their synaptic cognition, forming cell assemblies that act as unit of perception. These assemblies are the building block of perception, memory, and behavioral. Phase sequence refer to the temporal activation of cell assemblies in a specific order, encoding complex information such as sequence of event or action. This sequential activation to enable higher order cognitive process such as planning and episodic memory. Cell assembly and phase sequence are two concepts in the neuropsychology that explain how the brain organizes information. Number 1, cell assemblies. This a group of neurons that are cognited together and active together in response to a particular stimulus. Cell assemblies server are the basic unit for memory storage and information processing. Phase sequence. This refers to the temporal order of cell assembly activation on occur in a specific time context. Phase sequence describe how the activation of neurons in a cell assembly changes over time, creating complex patterns in learning and memory process. In short, cell assembly is about the structure of neurons, while phase sequence focus on the temporal dynamics of neural activation. Okay, next presentation will be presented Jevita Angelina Bulu with the topic cognitive learning and cognitive hypothesis. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for Andina. So, let's talk about cognitive learning and cognitive hypothesis. The first is cognitive learning. Cognitive learning focuses on the internal process involved in learning, emphasizing that individuals actively process information rather than passively receiving it. This theory posits that understanding how information is archived, stored, and retrieved is crucial for effective learning. And the next is the concept of cognitive learning. First is mental models. Mental models is individuals create internal representation of the world which help them interpret new information and predict outcomes. Second is active engagement. Active engagement is cognitive learning emphasizes active participation in the learning process. The third is metacognition. Metacognition is involves awareness and regulation of one's own learning process. Metacognitive strategies enable learners to plan, monitor, and evaluate their understanding and performance. And the second is cognitive hypothesis. Cognitive hypothesis refers to assumption about how cognitive process influence learning outcomes, particularly in language acquisition. It suggests that task complexity plays a significant role in how learners engage with content and develop language skills. And the next is aspects of cognitive hypothesis. First is task complexity. Task complexity is the cognitive hypothesis posit that increasing task complexity enhances cognitive engagement, leading to better language production and comprehension. Second is information processing. Information processing focus on how individuals process new information based on their existing knowledge. Third is concept formation. Concept formation is the cognitive hypothesis highlights how learners build new concepts through their experience, allowing them to develop a deeper understanding of language structures. And the next is difference between cognitive learning and behavioral learning. Cognitive learning differs significantly from behavioral learning in its focus. Behavioral learning, this approach emphasizes observable change in behavior as a result of experience, often through reinforcement strategies, primarily concerned with stimulus-response relationship, while cognitive learning focus on change in knowledge and understanding resulting from mental process. It seeks to explain how learners actively construct knowledge through engagement with content rather than merely responding to stimuli. So that's all about cognitive learning and cognitive hypothesis. Let's move to next topic. Presentation will be present by Widya Hayu with the topic illusion.
Right, let's move on to illusion. Illusion and experience where we see or feel something that doesn't match really due to how our brain processes and information. This can happen because of the way the light behaves. Insufficient information or how our senses work, such as the shape of your eyes. Illusion is different from hallucination. While hallucination is a perception that occurs without any external stimulus, such as hearing sound that aren't there. Illusion involves a misunderstanding of actual stimuli. On the type, there are several types of hallucination that affect different senses. On the visual illusion that occur when our brains misinterpret visual information. Examples include 1. Molar layer illusion. Molar layer illusion is a line with a round head and the ends appear longer or shorter depending on the direction of the arrows. 2. Ponzo illusion. On Ponzo illusion, parallel lines appear to converge in the distance, leading us to misjudged size. 3. Necker cube. Necker cube, a two-dimensional image that can be seen in different ways. 3. Moon illusion. The moon looks larger when near the horizon compared to when it is high in the sky. And the next type, auditory illusion. Auditory illusion that involve how we hear sounds. Examples include 1. Doppler effect. The pitch of a sound changes as the source of the sound moves closer or further away. 2. Pitch. Hearing an additional tone with the two slightly different frequencies are played together. And the next side, tactical illusion. Tactical illusion that involve our sense of touch. Examples include 1. Cold paradox. Cold paradox is something warm can feel cold when placed on a very cold sensitive area. 2. Heat paradox. Feeling warm when there is stimulation on warm and cold spots. So right illusion arises because the brain tries to make sense of conflicting or incomplete information. Next presentation will be explained by Kita.
Delusion or delusion are thought process disorder characterized by false belief that conflict with reality, but are maintained not even thought exciting a different so otherwise. Delusion are a positive symptom of schizophrenia that are often found, but many people still confuse the difference between delusion and hallucination. Type of delusion. The first, delusion of godness. Involve delusion of godness. Sufferers have the belief that they have extraordinary powers, greatness, or abilities that are far above ordinary humans. Example, someone believes he is a great king or has supernatural powers. The second, suspicious delusion. Involve suspicious delusion. Individuals have excessive suspicions of others with the belief that they are being watched, threatened, or betrayed. Example, believing that a neighbor is planning to poison him. The third, religious delusion. Involve religious delusion. Individuals feel they have a special relationship with God or have a certain religious mission. Example, someone claims to be a prophet or messenger of God. The fourth, semantic delusion. Involve semantic delusion, false belief about the condition of the body, often relate to disease or physical disorder that do not actually exist. Example, feeling like you have a serious illness that the doctor did not detect. The last, nihilistic delusion. Involve nihilistic delusion. The sufferer believes that he or a part of him does not exist, or that the world has ended. Example, feeling like he is dead and only a spirit remains. Presentation will be presented by Sofia Awalia with the topicals assembly and present tense.
Hallucination are perceptual disturbances that cause a person to hear, feel, smell, or see things that are not actually there. In certain conditions, hallucination can pose a threat to oneself and others. Hallucinations are sensory experiences that occur without a real external stimulus that can involve any of the five senses, such as hearing voices, seeing things that aren't there, or feeling sensation on the skin that have no physical cause. Causes of hallucination: mental disorders, neurological disorders substance abuse, fever, sleep disorders, serious illness, severe head injuries, electric imbalance, acid-base imbalance, and side effect of medication. Type of hallucination. Number 1 is auditory hallucination. Auditory hallucination is a type hallucination that causes a person to hear sound that others cannot hear. The sound can be interaction, conversation, music, or even for space. Number 2, visual hallucination. Visual hallucination are sensory perception involving the sense of sight, causing the individual to perceive object patterns, people, or like that do not exist in reality. Number 3, or olfactory hallucination. Olfactory hallucination are sensory perception involving the sense of smell, causing the individual to perceive others that do not exist in reality. These perceived others can be pleasant, unpleasant, or even real to one's own body. Number 4, gustatory hallucination. Gustatory hallucination are sensory perception involving the sense of taste, causing the individual perceive abnormal or distorted in food or drink. And the last is tactile hallucination. Tactile hallucination are sensory perception involving the sense of touch, manifested as sensation of physical content or movement on the body. Individuals experiencing this hallucination may feel as if they are being touched, tickled, or have insect crawling on their skin. In some cases, that may even perceive a sensation of heat or cold, such as feeling a burning sensation on the face. That brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening, for your attention. Thank you all for listening. It was a pleasure being here today. Well, that's it for me. Thank you very much.